Hi there. So this is the part that I wanted to tell you. So for today's setup, we're going to be learning about color theory and the color wheel. So we're going to be learning how to mix different colors. Now you may have come across this when you were either in elementary or primary school, or you may have learned a bit of it in science. There are two different kinds. One is that we use for color theory for art. The other one is for science. Science is a little bit different. So for today, we're going to be talking about colors. Now I took out my tubes. So the colors that I got here are cadmium yellow or lemon yellow. And then I've got ultramarine blue. Okay. And you can either use crimson red, or you could use, I think this is scarlet red or vermilion red. Now, I want to talk about two things. Usually in your watercolor set, there's two colors that you get, black and white. A joke that we used to have in high school, our teacher used to make us throw that out because she simply said that you could basically mix all of these colors to make brown or black. And seriously, if you needed white, here's white. So to get your setup, we're going to be doing a color wheel first. So you might want to get either a compass or you can get a lid. Okay, I'm not going to specifically advertise anything. So get a lid, and on your paper, you want to lightly draw a circle. Okay, there you go. So the next part, you're going to want to divide it into 8 parts. So you can get all technical, but I'm not going to get technical with this. You can measure it if you want to. I'm not going to do that. So I would here 1, very lightly, 2. So that's 4 pieces. Okay. So go through here. So now I've got 1, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Let's have a look how that would go. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right. Okay. I'm actually going to make 5 instead of 8. So I might want to fit in like another one here somewhere. Can be anywhere. If you're that meticulous, fine, measure it. I'm not going to be that meticulous, so let me think where I can put 5. So I'm going to put 1 just here. So basically, kind of think of this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I might do like this one. So this one again, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so you're going to start off with your colors now. So get your setup correct, and I'm going to show you this part here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with my lightest color. Okay, if it's a new tube, you want to open it, you want to squeeze your color into here, kind of do that. And if it's brand new, you might have to sometimes do that. Let's see how this is going to work. Okay, so you might see a little bit of oil residue, that's fine. And I'm going to put my color here, so yellow. I'm going to be using ultramarine blue. So here we go. And I'm going to be using decision time. I think let's use my scarlet red. Let's see how scarlet red is going to look out. There we go, scarlet red. Okay, so these 3 colors that you see on my palette, we call those primary colors. Basically, primary colors that we use can be used to mix any other color. So it's different to science color theory, where they would refer to red, green, and blue, RGB. You might have heard of that before. So I'm going to get my setup here, my sponge, and put my sponge somewhere comfortable. Let's move my pencil. So I'm going to start with yellow. I'm going to dip my brush a little bit here, and then I'm going to mix it here. So before I put it onto my paper, I really want to kind of mix my color kind of here. Okay, so my brush might be a little bit dirty, sorry. Always make sure that your brush is nice and clean. That's kind of imperative. So there we go. Let's see. Okay, great. So anyway, on here I'm going to start with my color yellow. Okay, sorry, I didn't realize my brush is that messy. So let's switch to another one. I'm going to use a smaller brush and see if I can do that instead. Ah, there we go. More yellow. So you want to add a bit of yellow here. Play around with it a bit. And you're going to kind of paint this one yellow. So we're going to start off with our primary colors first. Dip it. And you'll see why textured paper works so nicely. So if you make a mistake, you can use a tissue, or you can use a sponge or a cloth, either way. And what you would do is you would kind of wet the paper and do that. Just do that and lift it. Okay. So we're going to start with this. There we go. So yellow. So now I want to clean my brush. Okay. And just to show you how you do that, you kind of just stir it the way you would do coffee, kind of do that, and then you use your sponge like that, or your cloth. If you're left-handed, obviously you're going to go this side, right-handed this side. So the next color I'm going to skip to, so 1, 2, and I'm going to put my red. So once I clean my brush, let's move on to my scarlet red, and I'm going to put it in another section here, completely separate. Okay, there we go, this is better. So again, 1, 2, you'll see why. And you gently want to kind of paint. And this is what I mean by transparent color. You will see that it's different to acrylic. Usually when people start to paint, they would start using watercolors first before moving on to acrylic. So, all right, then I'm going to skip to again 1, 2, and I'm going to put it to here. Okay. And then I'm going to use my ultramarine blue. So I'm going to mix it over here somewhere. Just with my palette so you can see. Okay. Make sure that your brush is nice and clean. So always kind of ultramarine blue. So I might, let me think. Got 1, 2 here, 1, 2. Okay. So let's do this. And mix my primary colors. You're welcome to add more blue if you want to. Okay. Brush control. One thing I'd like to mention is if you don't want to buy a set of tube watercolors, you can obviously buy separate colors, and colors that I would personally recommend are always going to be ultramarine blue, cadmium yellow, lemon yellow, crimson red, scarlet red. You can't go wrong with basic colors. The whole point of why they teach you the color wheel is that you could learn to mix colors on a budget. Now, so the next 2 colors I'm going to mix is orange. So what I'm going to do here, you can mix it here or you can mix it on there. So in this case, I'm going to be taking yellow. Okay. And maybe 1 part. Don't forget to clean your brush in between each session. And 1 part like that. So I feel like this is too orange. So I might want to mix more yellow. So let's do that. more yellow. And there you go. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mix it here, just very lightly. So you might not see much of a difference. Okay. And then I'm going to paint this one the same color, but once I finish the block, I'm going to add a tinge of red, or scarlet red in this case. Okay, so there we go. Now, these two might look the same. So I'm going to clean my brush again, and then I'm going to add like a little bit, just a little bit, like that. Play with it, tiny bit, and kind of mix it. You'll see that. If you have some bleeding happening there, that's okay. And there you go. So you'll see this one is slightly darker than that one. So if you add more yellow, it's lighter. So the next thing I'm going to do is mix violet. Now you might have heard of this word as being referred to as purple. But interestingly enough, in nature you do not actually find the color, well, purple is always, it's always going to look like a little bit red purple or kind of more blue purple. It's not purple per se. So a lot of the times when we do teach color theory, we refer to purple as being violet. That's the actual proper name. Because every time, you'll find if you mix these two colors together, it'll either be like more bluish or more reddish. It's not going to be exactly purple. And often what we do is when we buy a set of watercolors or acrylics, we'll often buy a bottle or a tube of purple on its own if you really need to replicate that color. The joke is that the actual color purple that you see, it's manufactured. So, and that's what I was taught and told before. So now I'm going to be mixing violet. So what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be taking a little bit of blue and adding it to red. Not too much, maybe 2. So I'm going to be adding it to this side. So you might not see much of a difference. It might look slightly more red. Okay, there we go. And as I'm going, I want to add more blue. So I keep just doing maybe just this whole set. And there you go. Slightly more purple. Okay. Or violet, sorry, not purple. Okay, so there you go. Now I'm going to be mixing this color here and this color here. So I discovered I do not need this line. So I'm going to be erasing it out. Just be careful when you do. Okay. Uh-oh. Alright, so now I need more blue. So I'm going to be putting my blue here. I'm going to wash my brush again. Okay, there we go. Make sure that it's clean. And I'll be taking a little bit of yellow. Let's put it here. And a tiny tinge of ultramarine blue. Just like a tip like that. Maybe a little bit more. Okay, that's looking too green for me. So maybe I want to mix it with more yellow. So if I want to make my green much lighter, in this case, I add yellow, not white. So have a look here. You kind of want to do this. Okay. Here we go. Add more. And do that like that. There we go. Okay, so now I want to add blue. So simply what I'm going to be doing is wash my brush and just adding more blue to this mixture, ultramarine blue. And as you notice, when you add blue, it makes the green kind of darker. So, almost like a black color this time. Go. Okay, and there you go. So if you have a bit of that, you can wash your brush and you can wet it and just kind of go over there. So I want to kind of create more yellow because I notice this looks more greenish. There you go. If you have that, you can do the same here again, just kind of wet your brush and just kind of go over it like that. And there you have it. That's your color wheel. Okay, so let's recap the colors. So your primary colors are going to be yellow, red, and blue. So in between that, you have secondary colors, which is orange, violet, and green. So here we go. And then you get tertiary colors, which means you mix this and this to combine that. Or you would mix this and this to combine this color. No, wait, this and this color to combine that color. Or you would mix this and this color to combine this color. So basically, and it can go on and on and on. You can do a really fancy one if you want to. So this is just the basic one. So I'm going to have yellow. So on your list, you can write down yellow. You can take a pen or you can take a pencil, either way. So for class purposes, I'm going to be using just a marker here. So you can kind of write red. Okay. And for yourself, this is just for yourself, blue. Okay. And then here you would write down violet, orange. These are your secondary colors, orange. And then you would write down green. Okay, and then kind of yellow. Yellow. Okay. And basically your tertiary colors are mixing yellow and orange, which you can simply write down yellow dash orange, and violet and red. So violet red, you even get violet blue, by the way. In this case, violet red. And mixing green and yellow, like yellow green. Okay, there you go. And the purpose of this is to introduce you to your colors, to get familiar with them, know what they look like on paper. Also to explore color mixing instead of just painting from the tube. So it's not always going to be perfect. This color wheel is still kind of very wet. So again, you will see like this side, if you split this kind of in half, these are what I would refer to as warm colors and cool colors. So warm colors, think of hot, fire, sun. Cool colors, think of like water, cold, cooler stuff. So if you look carefully, I'm not going to deal too much in color theory. So basically colors that are on the opposite end of the color wheel. For example, you would have blue, let's say red and green, or opposite colors, blue and orange, and then you would have violet and yellow. Those are complementary colors. And complementary colors, they are called that because they complement each other. Not only that, but also they can be used for shading or making something lighter. So that's it for the color wheel lesson.